with Steve Phillips, and all eyes are going to be on the Yankees and the Red Sox clearly, and we were discussing this earlier in the week. The arms race, so to speak. How does that work in terms of Atkins? Let's use Ross as the barometer here, because we're talking about the Jays and we're up here in Toronto. Like, how closely are you monitoring or trying to get a read on what the Yankees and the Red Sox might be doing over the next 2 weeks?
Oh, yeah, I would. What I did is I read every news clipping from every baseball city, and especially the ones where I thought I might be in competition for the same players. And I think it's safe to say that the Yankees are looking for starting pitching. The Red Sox looking for starting pitching. They're both looking for bullpen help. You know what? The Yankees are looking for a third baseman. And you know what? You might be happy with Ernie Clement at third base. Maybe you think I don't have the resources. But I'll tell you right now that I would be in on the conversations on a third baseman. If the Yankees are in on Eugenio Suarez, I'm going to check in too, just to continue to run the price up. To make it like maybe I'll give you these players in my farm system. Even if I don't want to, I might pretend just to run the price up on it. But I think it's going to be, and I think the other thing to remember is that if you're competing for the same guys, and you'll know by the chatter, the rumors that are out there, then you might pay a little bit more to get a guy, but you understand that you're playing a game of keep away. That if I get them and they don't, that's a double victory. And I think that has value, talent value in a trade that you have to consider when you're trying to figure out what the right deal is to make.
Which of those teams would scare you the most, Steve?
Well, I think probably the Yankees more than the Red Sox. Although I think the Rays are not out of this either. The Tampa Bay Rays, there's a real good chance that you could have 4 AL East teams in the playoffs. And then Detroit in the Central and Houston out west. I think the Mariners are going to fade. I don't believe in the Mariners. I think, listen, what Cal Raleigh's done is amazing, but if he hasn't done it, they certainly wouldn't be 5 games over 500. And I don't know how he can keep doing what he's doing as a catcher. So I do think that the American League East is the one that you got to focus on. And, I think that the Yankees, Red Sox, and Rays in that order are teams that I worry about. But I think all of them are worth worrying over. Those head-to-head matchups when you play those teams. So they play the Blue Jays play the Yankees, I think, coming up in a series right after the first one. I think that you've got to take care of business in those series. Head-to-head matchups are going to matter. Tiebreakers are going to matter. And so that ability to get the advantage over the other team is going to be critical for the Blue Jays to figure out if they win the division and where they seed in the wild card if they fall into that role.
When you look around the league, which player is available, playing well, and a team's going to move them out? Like which player is going to be that player that everyone's going to want at this trade deadline?
Yeah. So I think right now, Arizona's 5.5 out of the wild card, and I just don't believe that they're going to get themselves back into it. And if they do, I think it's the worst thing for them. The goal is to win the most games over the most number of years, and I don't know that this is their year. And this is a great year for them to reset. So Eugenio Suarez is, destroying the baseball this year. Since last July 1st, last year, July 1st, he got 55 home runs. I mean, he is a legitimate middle of the lineup bat. He can play a solid third base. And the Yankees are in on him. Seattle Mariners are in on him. There are the Cubs. The Cubs, how about this for the Cubs? As good as their offense has been this year, their third baseman, they played 6 players at third base this year. They've totaled a 199 batting average and 1 home run. 1 home run. It's been Pete Crow Armstrong, Kyle Tucker, and Seiya Suzuki that have gotten it done for them. They could use a third baseman. And if you can't get pitching, then you might try to slug people to death. So I think Suarez and then Josh Naylor at first base is for any team looking at a first baseman, he's the preeminent guy. That's why Arizona needs to make trade. You can get 3 prospects for Naylor, 3 for Suarez, 3 for Merrill Kelly, and 3 for Zach Gallen. You could trade Lourdes Gurriel Jr. and you could trade Randall Grichuk, and you've got yourself, 14, 15 prospects. And if you want, go sign all those guys in the offseason and bring them back. But I just think that Arizona is going to be the big difference maker at the trade deadline. They're going to impact this deadline, I think, more than any other team.
Steve, it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. It's good to have the games back up and running post All-Star break, and you're going to be all over it like always. SportsCenter.ca, TSN Radio. We can't wait to do it again next week. Thank you for this.
You got it, guys. My pleasure. We'll talk to you then.
Steve Phillips, our baseball insider. Jays, Giants tonight. Steve, of course, joining us courtesy of the Maple Toyota Hotline. It'll be interesting to see. That's a good question, Strud. Like, generally, there's always the one or two guys, in every league. Like, who's available? Is he going to get there? What's the price going to be? What are the arms race going to look like? But it is fitting, and I think somewhat predictable, for Blue Jay fans who have been existing in the American League East for so long, that it's the Yankees and the Red Sox right behind them. You're never going to be comfortable. Like, the likelihood of the Blue Jays or Blue Jay fans being comfortable between now and the end of September, mini Jerry on that seems like 10%, 15%. Like, it's going to be a race. It's going to be ups and downs. They may lose the top seed at some point. They may drop down to third in the division at some point. So what do you prioritize? Just getting in, winning the division, home field and a wild card? I don't know. We'll see. A lot of baseball left to be played. All right. We'll leave it there. Good stuff.
I had a question.
They don't call you guys the best of the business for nothing.
I was waiting for you to finish. So when you were talking about Verlander, I started to think about 300 games and 300 game winners. How many wins do you think he has, just off the top of your head?
312.
262.
No way. He hasn't hit 300 yet?
Isn't that nuts?
Really?
And so I'm thinking, is there ever going to be a 300 game winner again? And the answer is probably no.
No, probably
if he's not even close.
Yeah, that's wild.
There's nobody's close.
He's 41 now, or 42.
Yeah.
And a horse, is always getting into a position where he can register a win, right, or some sort of a record. You're right. With the way things go now, and pitchers just not giving the innings, so it opens the door for lead changes and things to happen. I don't think we're ever going to see anybody hit 300 again. It does seem like kind of a lost art. Even 3,000 strikeouts. Kershaw just hit it.
And he's the 20th.
Yeah.
Which is not a lot of players.
Yeah, which is pretty incredible because Verlander's hit that, I believe, and Scherzer hit that, right? I believe the three of them all have 3,000 strikeouts, do they not?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe all three do. That's why I figured Verlander had hit 300 wins. But you're right. He's not even close. He's not going to pitch another 5 or 6 years to pass that. So it's just not going to happen. I saw, was it Yaroslav Halak, I believe, announced his retirement?
Yeah.
And what did he say? He's just short of 300 wins in his career or something, and that was a number he wanted to get to. But I guess everyone, when you retire, there's always a number that's right there that you could reach if you just had one more game, or because there's someone famous in the NHL that finished with 499 goals.
Wasn't it Modano?
Maybe it was something like that.
Or was there something with Modano in Detroit?
There was 1,500 points or something like that.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. And Babcock sat him and didn't play him and didn't give him the opportunity to get to it. But, that's tough when you're sitting on 299. And they're arbitrary numbers, but they're bold and they mean something in sports. And you're right, Verlander's not going to hit.
Are you guys
wins.
big round number people?
Yeah,